and then do the other. Yeah. All right.
And here we go. Good morning, everybody. It is early and cold. Well, no, we're right on time. Holy crap.
We
But
are.
it's a little chilly this morning, I thought. Did you?
I had my window open.
I well,
It
I
was a little chilly. I mean, I saw my breath.
yeah, I had my window open too. My my bedroom window all morning. And well, all night long until this morning I get out of bed and I was like, "Oh hell no." I had to shut that thing before I get in the shower. I'll freeze to death. So, an episode of Shits and Giggles without JD. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to have giggles, right?
We're gonna have a lot more giggles.
Right, because
He's just full of shit.
Right. He's full of shit, and now we have time to pick on him.
Well, let's see. Where do we start? Do we start with the Lollipop Guild?
Sure. Do you know that song?
Represent the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah.
The Lollipop Guild.
He's gonna kill us probably. Is the door locked?
He's not gonna watch
That's
it.
what I say a lot now. Is the door locked? It's not. I unlocked it.
You unlocked it?
Yeah, but I say that a lot because sometimes we say things that aren't nice.
Did you see the one where G was sitting here and the guy was like looking in the window like crazy?
Yes, I did. I called for help, believe it or not.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I was home and I was watching and I was concerned. So I called down to the city and asked PD if they could come up and ask him to nicely move along. Because it was very obvious that he was upsetting G a little bit.
Yeah.
He was making him a little edgy.
Well, I don't blame G. I would be a little creeped out too.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into things as far as we had a couple of closings this morning that really rocked the boat and upset a lot of people. Spalding High School closed kind of last minute due to staffing. Their automated system was down, so they were unable to do the robocall. A lot of people didn't read their email. Thank goodness we got it out there and people saw that. But it was quite a bit of time passed before the notice came out that the vocational was still open, though, and even though the high school was closing. And so why are you making that face? Is there something wrong?
Because I just looked at your post 24 minutes ago saying that U32 will be dismissing, and I'm a little...
Yeah.
Okay, so like Spalding's dismissing, U32.
Yeah. Spalding is closed all day.
Correct.
The vocational center remained open, but Union 32 is closing at 11:25 for early dismissal, also due to staffing issues. So that's a little frightening. We're only not even maybe a month now into school, and we're already dealing with this. So, what's going to happen this winter? Do you think?
I don't. Yeah, that's a real good question. This winter, as we're talking about, that's going to be a huge problem if we don't take care of that. That will be a huge issue.
I agree. And I wonder, I really wonder if they need to find a way to still hold schools somehow, just like they did during COVID.
Yeah.
And who knows? Rumor has it that a lot of people, a lot of staff and a lot of kids at Spalding have COVID. But we don't know that is the reason for keeping them all at home today. But when we were talking about maybe possibly, according to Roger Hill in the Farmer's Almanac, having a pretty brutal winter and worrying about snow days and stuff too, and adding these, how many days are kids going to be there?
See, my question is, and I don't know the answer, obviously. My question, are they closed due to COVID or because of COVID exposure.
Right.
Because if you're closed because of COVID exposure, then, this, first of all, I don't know if CDC still requires people to quarantine with COVID exposure. I don't know what their standards are. And if somebody's watching, and the CDC standards, please just post them in there and just let us know. But it's really interesting that U32 and Spalding High School are suffering some school shortage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's all about. I will
not
say
sure
this,
either.
and I have to ask the question. I mean, we've got more staff than we did 20 years ago when I graduated, and less students.
So what's the
what
problem?
The heck?
Right.
What is going
what's the
on?
problem? Mm-hmm.
Are we not hiring teachers? And I mean, I don't know.
I know that there is a shortage of substitutes. I know that those are
Michael
getting
didn't get a
harder
call.
and harder. Which
Michael Deering, he's a substitute.
He's a sub, and he did not get a call.
No.
So yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Why that wouldn't be? Yeah.
I have no idea. It's too bad we don't have. And I think about Berry City used to have the smaller schools, and we can't, obviously with Spalding, it's a different situation. You can't do that. But, we had parents that came in and were helping out, and it would probably be really nice to have that again, where parents could go in and help out. And yep. So Linda Kuchar says that BCEMS had teachers out with COVID. Did BCEMS also close down?
I didn't think so.
Wow.
If they did, that happened after I got here, and I have not noticed yet. So I'm not sure. Hopefully somebody will let us know if that's the case. No, Linda says no, but I did know that there were some cases in the school, and but did not think for a minute that it would be enough to shut it down like that. Because as you say, it just seems like there must be a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a lot of days of making up, and we're already way behind in education as it is, and that's an
Are
understatement.
you talking about 33% proficiency rates?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a huge problem.
It is.
And what's really concerning is that that's 33% BUUSD.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't break it up by like BCAMS or whatever, the Berry City School, the Berry Town School, and Spalding.
Right. It doesn't break it up.
And my guesstimation would be Berry City is even lower. Our children can't suffer any additional hiccups in our education system. So what probably should happen is they should have some sort of remote learning option for when they close down the school.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that was a discussion even last year, and it was said that it couldn't happen for some reason last year. I don't know if they just flat out said, no, we're not going to make that work. It was too much. Or if they felt that it was an issue with Source and providing that online education. I'm not sure where that went. Do you know?
I don't know anything about that.
No. I just know that last year they said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do the online education thing. So, yeah.
And I agree with that. We shouldn't do the online education. I don't think it's beneficial for a lot of our children.
No, not at all.
But on days like today, we probably should have that option available. It's something that Michael Deering brought up a couple months ago was, what happens when we have a disaster and
we're not prepared.
We're not prepared.
Right. And we very much
probably
should be.
We'll have to yell at school board members. Don't yell at school board members.
You have
work
a
hard.
conversation.
Right.
They do work hard.
And all you have to do is just email them and say, let them know.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty
We
good.
want to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then your discussion may be limited, but
2 minutes? Could
2
be
minutes.
worse.
I know. Could be 1 minute, right?
So
we've heard rumblings of 1 minute on some committees.
I know where that's going.
You do. You do.
Well, let me just see here. So Linda Kuchar says, but how can a teacher possibly know what specific day the schools are going to shut down to have a lesson plan ready when they're currently working at it? I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, I agree. That too.
The question is, can you teach that lesson plan remotely? And
even if you're not feeling well?
Even if you're not feeling well, I mean, if you're not feeling well, that's obviously a different issue. But
right,
if you're capable of teaching,
mm-hmm.
Remotely, can you teach that plan? I don't know, Linda. I mean, I legitimately, I don't know. It's not something that I'm just not in tune with it. So I do apologize, and I'm sure because I'm not in tune with it, some people will say, "Well, then why are you talking?" Because I have a right to.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's just even a matter of, that if there's no lesson plan, to have some sort of backup lesson, to at least have something that they could possibly do that day. If it's science, have a backup that, this is what you're going to investigate today, and we'll talk about it when I'm back. Or, essays, reports, something. There has to be something that is going to help them occupy the time in their minds and still be doing stuff. How about a backup plan for certain grades be signing your name and, actual cursive writing or a signature?
Cursive?
Or
what the heck's cursive?
I know. Can you imagine?
Do they even teach cursive? I don't think they teach cursive
I
anymore.
don't think so.
I hated cursive.
I don't care. That is so.
But I know how to read it.
Right, and I do too. And the majority of kids now don't. And what do they do when they sign their name? Do they just print their name? Like, I guess
Have you ever
it's
seen my signature?
no. Well, it's anybody's, but it's yours. That's my
That is
point,
true.
though. It's like almost like a fingerprint. It's your signature. And don't you find it a little bit scary that means nothing anymore? It's all literally, everything we do is digital. Literally, fingerprints, face recognition. Sure, they say all of that stuff is so much safer, but I don't know.
That's my signature.
That's your signature? It's a great signature. Look at Michael's signature.
I just want to specify that there is an M there. There is a
B.
Well, you can't see the B, but there is a T. You see the intersection there, and Michael Booten has 2 eyes. Yeah?
And you have your dot.
I have my dot, and sometimes it makes it look like a smiley face.
But the point is that that's yours, though. It's I don't know. It just seems a little bit frightening to me that everything has literally become digital. Nothing is personal anymore. Not, and they're getting away from cashing out, checkout lines and that personal interaction. And what if you have a question, or, you're up there at the self-checkout and all hell breaks loose, and then you got to wait for 10 minutes for somebody to come and help you? What is that crap? And I don't know. And so I bring it all back to like cursive. Yes, just the simple things, learning the simple things.
So
Are we ever going to do that again?
I'm not going to lie. I like the self-checkouts because I don't want to talk to some people.
Yeah. And I agree with that sometimes.
Go in and get my stuff and leave.
Mm-hmm. What if you have a cart full? What if you have a cart full and you get up there to Walmart or wherever you are, and you get to the self-checkout and you have this little tiny square to not only check out, but try to bag your own shit and get it out of the way.
Well, they have the conveyor belt ones though.
Yeah.
I love those.
You do?
That's great. Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. I love it. I love the self-checkouts.
It must be because you're so much younger than me. And I'm like,
I know, 10 years. Holy crap.
Well,
10 years.
That's a lot.
You're not even, how old are you?
50.
You're 8 years older than me.
Yeah.
8.
And
8.
Don't you find that
That's it.
frightening that there's that much of a difference, though, from being like
You've just
old
crossed
and
over into
old
the get off my lawn
old-fashioned?
person.
Yeah, right, probably. I don't know. We shall see. Yeah. But anyways, we are moving on from schools to diversity and equity. Michael.
I thought we had a conversation about not having this conversation.
No, we said we would touch on it quickly.
Oh, we can touch on it quickly. Okay.
Yeah. People need to watch and weigh in, maybe. Are we looking to hear from the community, since it is a community committee that seems to maybe be a little, I don't even know what I want to call it nicely, a shambles, really. It's a mess.
So, okay. So the committee is made up of people that are very strong on certain sides of issues, right? Mm-hmm. And what we have is an ideological rift. Mm-hmm. And I think that is being played out on a large scale. Mm-hmm. And the question is do we want people that is it something on a committee? Should we have people that ideologically think differently? Mm-hmm. My thought process is yes. I think it's a great idea to have ideological differences on every single committee. Mm-hmm. Believe me, with city council, I can get very, very wow. Linda writes, I watched a disaster. She needs to learn, first of all, how to call a meeting to order. So right. I mean, we gotta face the fact that, the people that are running our committees, they're not, they don't get, training in Robert's rules and mm-hmm. stuff like that. So just, some defense and for clarity, I have a real special relationship with what mm-hmm. I consider it special. I mean, we were talking about, parents being in the school system.
Right.
Mrs. Mulvaney was in the school system like every freaking day. Mm-hmm. And she was a great support for those students that were there. And, so I'm a little biased mm-hmm. and I realize that, and I take that into the conversation when I'm doing. If this was a different person, I would probably have a completely different response.
Well, let's not even talk about just the person. Let's talk about where we are in the world right now, in the city, in this state. Is it possible for anybody to have that kind of committee right now?
So
I don't think so.
Berry City is one of like less than 10 communities in the state of Vermont mm-hmm. that has created a diversity and equity committee. Mm-hmm. Montpelier doesn't even have one. I voted to create the diversity and equity committee. I think that my belief at this moment in time is that they have voted out their recommendation and their findings. Mm-hmm. I would say as city council, we take them and dissolve the committee.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yep,
before there is much more controversy throughout the city than we already have. I mean, this is just going to further create more divide, more arguing.
There's no reason to demonize the people that are on the committee. We don't, I think they've done what they could do. Is it Is it what I would want? I mean, it would be not, because I think there's opportunity to address some equity in our community. But it's not necessarily, I think when we talk about equity and we put it into the light of how our community is based up, it's really socioeconomic. A child, for example, and I've heard this comment, we're talking about equity, and how equitable is it that, we're talking about putting a sidewalk on Merchant Street to Hope Cemetery, and this was a conversation, but yet we don't talk about having a sidewalk up on Allen Street, which goes to Green Acres,
right,
where there's a crap ton of children, right? And talking about equity, we talk about socioeconomic equity, and believe me, I represent Ward 2, right? So I would argue for, putting the sidewalk in Ward 2, right? Because it's my ward,
right.
But if you're looking at it from an equity point of view, really should put the sidewalk up there, because we've got children in low income housing that don't have a sidewalk.
And a school as well. Both.
Right. And then you got the C building. Exactly. Yeah. So we talk about equity in that light. That certainly makes a difference. And I don't know. I mean,
and maybe there's a way to do that throughout the city without a committee. I mean, each individual person that is there currently has something that they're very passionate about, and there can maybe be a way for them to do that individually. And
true,
I mean, we all do that every day. That's kind of what we do here is, in a way.
You think about it. I mean, that's what the ward representation is, right? When you have something that you want or that you feel is important to you, you should bring it up to your city councilor and constantly ask them to do something. And, they may.
Yeah. He's just checking it out. Yeah.
We invite him in.
He's just, he's checking out the bulletin board. Yeah. See, this happens all the time in the morning. Yeah,
I love it.
That's why JD loves to be right here in the window, because this happens. But see, whoever is sitting in that seat, it makes you do that, though, doesn't it? It makes you cringe a little bit. Like, are you wondering, like, who's standing behind me? What's happening? Yeah, it's only when they stand there for a minute, like right behind you, because they can see the screen and they're watching the screen.
Oh.
And that it gets unnerving when they're right behind you and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Don't get that at night.
It is fun. You don't get that at night?
No.
Well, be grateful, because maybe you wouldn't want that to have it.
No, it would be fun. It would be great.
We've seen all kinds of great things out there. But yeah, anyway, I just think that there is a way I agree. It should dissolve it, and enough is enough, and it's just going to create further problems.
I will say that people that are conservative and / Republican, whatever, are not, and I feel like this is getting like headway. People referring to those. I mean, I'm on the right side of the aisle, right? Like everybody knows that.
Depending on who you talk to, right?
That is correct. That is correct.
Right.
Yes, I have been closely associated with a communist,
right?
Apparently, which is insane, but that's
hysterical,
okay.
Really.
It is funny. It is kind of funny, but whatever. It's all good. People that are conservative Republicans, just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean that they're communist, and it doesn't mean that they're white supremacist. Okay, you don't immediately go to those areas. I for example, right, Teddy and I, complete opposites. And Teddy is going to be moderating the Senate panel on October 19th.
Yeah.
I asked him
I'll
to
be
do
here
that.
with
He's
you
gonna,
too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've never called Teddy a communist, at least not to my knowledge. I can't think of a time that I did. We joke around about it, and he's like, I can't stand being called a communist. I'm a socialist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't do any good to refer to people in such polarized manner.
No.
It's unhealthy for our community.
And there are ways, like we just discussed.
Absolutely.
There's a reason. There's a city council. There's a
Yep.
reason the city council is set up the way it is.
Yeah.
And that's what you're asking from the community. You're asking them to bring their questions, their wants, their needs, their concerns
Yep.
to their council
Right.
person.
Exactly.
And-
always bring your concerns.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the meetings are always public.
Yep.
You can be there in person. You can be there over on Zoom.
Yep.
The links are out there right on the city website, and there is time to bring that forth if you need or want to. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we have a very vocal contingent on Merchant Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come in and they want, certain things, and, they squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yes,
and
yes,
that's
they
just
do.
what happens.
And they've I think have been working on those things, the sidewalk, the speed bumps,
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah. And now, what else here? Oh, we have to say that, do you know that Preston's Kia does trunk or treat? We were there last year. We filled up our trunk. We were the only ones that didn't run out of candy. Ha ha. And so I was having to share with everybody else so that they wouldn't run out either. It was massive. The amount of kids that came was incredible. And a few other sponsors that we have, Gusto's was down there, and a few other friends. And you dress up, you go down with your trunk full of candy, and all these kids come, and they have a little parade and a contest, and they have cotton candy and popcorn and decorating, all kinds of stuff that happened down there. You should come down. You should fill up your car, your little green Jeep.
My Jeep.
Dress as something, a frog maybe, I don't know, a squirrel.
I could as Nutters.
Yes, you could dress as
Nutters
Nutters.
hasn't been on our show for a while.
Come down
need
to
to-
Preston's and join us, because they're looking for people that want to go down and do trunk or treat. You can that are going to offer up their trunk full of candy. So they clean out the front parking lot of their inventory, and we line our cars up, and it's pretty cool actually. So if you're interested in doing that, you contact Nicole, or you can tell me, and I'll tell Nicole that you're going to be there that day.
And they're a presenting sponsor.
They are a
So you should
presenting
get
sponsor.
your Kias from Preston Kia.
Well, where else would you get them? I mean, my goodness. And
This is a very valid point,
Yes.
considering the fact that, do you know why there's no Kia dealers close by?
why?
Because of, no, I might be wrong on this, but Adams ruins everything. This is from Adam Ruins Everything. So
Okay.
I'm going to assume that it's correct, but it's because of like state laws and everything else. They've built that into the system where there's no competition.
They have
And
to
so-
be within a certain amount of miles,
Yep.
because there is one in Burlington, but we're not going to talk about that one. And because there's no other place like Preston's. There just isn't. So that's where, that's where we're going to go. And they actually just got a huge shipment in. So inventory of
Really?
everything imaginable.
Do they have
So-
anything in bright green?
I bet you they do.
Mojito green?
Have you ever seen some of those little souls in the colors? I had the first alien green one back when, and around here, and then of course that's all you ever saw were the green ones. It was like, and then I always wished I had gotten the orange one, because There weren't a lot of the orange ones.
Was it mojito green?
No, it was called alien green back then.
Mojito green is way better.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that what the
That's what
Jeep
my color of my Jeep
is?
is. I love that color.
Yeah, the Jeep is a little
Very
bit bright. Yes, just a little bit bright. So yeah, if you want to be a part of Trunk or Treat, please let Nicole Carpenter down at Preston's know, or me, and I will let them know that you will be there, and you can decorate your car, you can wear a costume, make it fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that everybody can do.
Everybody.
Do you have a phone number?
Yeah, it's all posted.
It's all
so I'll
posted.
post it
Okay.
all. Yeah, I'll post it all. Because it's not really a phone number for Nicole. It's a link. So we're
Okay.
gonna click a little link, and so
Nice. And
it
what
has
date
been
is that
posted,
again?
and we'll post it right on Halloween.
Halloween.
yeah, the
Sorry, you've already
31st.
said that multiple times. I apologize.
Yeah, right on Halloween. Yeah, because and then, did you have frost this morning?
I did not. I'm waiting for the frost because we have Concord grapes, and my grandmother said that you have to wait until the first frost before you can pick them.
Are you gonna make
Although
wine?
I've already picked it.
What?
No, I'm not going to make wine.
Why not?
I'm not going to make anything. I'm just telling you that.
You're just gonna eat them?
No, I'm not going to eat them. They're not my favorite kind of grape.
Oh my gosh! You're not gonna make jelly? You're not gonna make?
No.
You should get them to somebody that will make something.
Well, my niece is going to pick some, and my stepbrother's going to pick some. And
do you have
I think
lots of them?
It's almost covered half of our house. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I gotta, what I would love to do is get it so that it covers the whole lawn.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can just
Then
go
you
out
don't
and
have
just
to
pick
mow?
it.
If it covers
Yes,
the whole
that is
lawn,
true. That would be nice.
then
I
you would
wouldn't
like
have to
that.
mow. I
But
wouldn't mind mow.
you don't want to pick them and throw them in a big old wooden bucket and take your shoes off and stomp on them. All that
So you know what that gives me like memories of?
what?
Like stepping in poop as a kid
At
with
the
my
farm,
shoes off.
go in the cow patties and
No, we had a lot of dogs growing up.
Oh,
My
mhm.
mom had like 4 or 5 dogs.
Mhm.
So yeah, sometimes you would step in it. That was not fun.
No,
It's
that's not fun
nasty.
at all. But I heard that stepping on grapes was fun.
It's
You
like
know.
squishing through your toes. It's like really gross.
Oh my god!
I'm not gonna lie.
Are you
like,
guys listening?
wear
to this
wear
stuff?
gloves on your feet. That's nasty. That's wicked nasty. Ew, like toe jam.
Why wear gloves on your feet? That's a first. I've never heard of wearing
Come
gloves
on,
on your feet, but they
everybody-
have those socks with toes in them. Yes, those separate
Listen,
toes.
I want
socks.
everybody who's listening. Tell me that it's gross. We all know it's nasty. The little toe jam, you know. Actually, so at our church we had at the time it was our youth pastor.
Mhm.
They made some weird concoction, and what he did was he made it and then made a second batch. The first batch was normal, and the second batch he recorded, and he was using his feet to clean it.
Uh-huh.
And he fed the first batch, which didn't have that, to the youth group members. And after they ate it, he showed the video of him
Stepping on it.
stepping on it.
Yeah. And did you get sick and run out of the group?
It wasn't me. I would.
Oh,
have not been,
it was not
I would
you.
not have been impressed.
No. You wouldn't have had anything
No,
to do
no.
with that.
No. It was pretty good. It was very funny. I'm not gonna lie. It was hilarious.
Oh gosh.
It was gross.
It sounds like
but
something
hilarious.
you would do.
I wouldn't do that. I'm not that kind of person.
So, we'll move on to a little news and some local news. I consider it news. Is a dear friend of mine was badly injured in an auto accident over the weekend. Happened on Saturday, and he's in pretty rough shape and has had a couple of surgeries. He is headed to surgery. This is according to his wife just an hour ago. Headed in for surgery this morning for them to recheck the gash in his liver and hopefully close that up. So far, they've only been able to pack it. And then they will also be looking at the chest so that they can start the planning of the reconstruction of his chest cavity. And yeah, he had an IV that failed last night. One of the ones that they had inserted into one of his veins, but he is in pretty rough shape. He's stable, but they are. He's still considered in critical condition, and I've started a GoFundMe, and I've posted that on Aired Out as well as my my private page, and trying to just get that shared everywhere. And he has 3 girls and a wife, and is going to be out of work for quite some time. Yeah, but he was working on his daughter's car, I guess, and took it for a ride, and the accelerator stuck. And yeah, he was ejected from the car, and it's pretty rough shape. So, am asking people to help Leonard out, and please see the page or my page, and consider donating. And if you can't, that's fine. But thoughts and prayers are greatly appreciated as well. And then on to South Burlington, where they have 2 more shootings. One of them has resulted in a death at the Swiss Host Motel in Williston. That one resulted in death. And the second, we have not heard about who was shot. We just know that somebody was shot. Also in Burlington, the first happened on Sunday night around 11 o'clock, and then the second sometime in the night. When I left, all of the report wasn't there totally. So we have that going on yet again in Burlington, and it makes me, as much as we hear and see people complain about Barrie, it makes me grateful that we are here, that we're here in this little city where, despite everything, and I mean, I pray that we don't start having those issues. It's frightening.
I'll say that during the whole push to get rid of our police officers in 2020, which everybody immediately regretted for doing, Barrie City did not go down that path. And I was extremely concerned that we were, but we did not, thankfully. We kept our staff, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So Heather Slayton posted something. Not sure what that is. Well, I guess I can actually click the link and find out what it says.
You might be able to. She probably has the rest of the story for the second shooting, is my guess. Yeah, and you are actually a huge advocate for body cams.
Oh, absolutely. I think body cams are super important.
You have been you've been supporting that greatly, and I believe that the majority of the council supports that as well. I don't know that I've heard
I think
much
so.
for negative reaction when it comes to that at all. I think that, yeah.
And she posted the GoFundMe page.
Oh, she did. Thank you, Heather.
So body cams are really, I look at them, one, they're funny as heck to watch. Some of them, like, and I really love it when
they have reality shows based on those damn things.
That is true.
Yes.
Some of them are extremely funny. And if anybody has a second, go and look up like New Jersey commissioner body cam. The lady's like, I'm the commissioner and you ought to respect me and blah, 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 blah. And she was like all up in the police officer's face, and he's just like,
yeah. So
I mean, she was a total Karen.
Right.
I mean, it was really bad and hilarious. She doesn't work. She's no longer a commissioner, obviously. But I do like it when when you see the political folks get it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, don't do that.
Right.
I
right.
mean,
You're just a person.
you're just a person.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act self-righteous. If you get pulled over and you're somebody in public office, your first comment is, I deserve the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, I deserve the ticket.
Yeah.
And and thankfully I haven't been pulled over since I was like 21 or something like that. Which I should have been multiple times, I'm sure, because I have a problem with obeying the law when it comes to driving. But
You do.
I do. The good thing with the Jeep is that, you can only go so fast before you feel like it's unsafe.
Right. Right. That's why I would never have one of those.
It's not unsafe. It just feels, because you're in a box.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overly aerodynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sits a little high, and it doesn't have the wide wheelbase that
Mm-hmm.
if a truck had sat that high.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed for really going off road.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully you don't get too sketchy with it on the interstate anyway.
I don't know if your car has this or if other people can tell you too, but my car on the dash right above the speed limit the speed that you're going is a speed limit sign, and it tells you what the speed limit is where you are. And if you're being an asshole, that stays red. It turns
Really?
red. And mine is red like all the freaking time. It pisses me off. And then people that are in the car with me will often comment that hello, I put a piece of tape over it. I don't like that. Don't tell me what to do. What is it crabbing at me about?
See, you have that right on your.
I
on
have
your
a coffee cup too.
Yep.
When you're going to Rutland and you're or anywhere when you're traveling those kind of roads up Route 302 and you're maybe driving in excess of 50, so you cut corners so that you can continue the speed without braking. Maybe you get into the gas more so that you can, if you drive kind of, I don't know how you want to put that, but then you cross the yellow line a lot or the white line, or if you're dodging potholes. In my car, well, a little coffee cup comes on and the steam rolls up and it says, you may consider a brake.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it tells me. I turned it off. She used to say that out loud. But that just annoys the shit out of me. I swear, I call her names and everything. My
Really?
car, who talks to me.
You know what my Jeep tells me?
What?
If I'm not level properly, like when it's going into the red of how much it's slanted.
Tilting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it gets
Like you're going to roll this puppy if you don't cut it out.
correct. And I have been at that point where it was like 30 degrees and you can't, if you go to my YouTube page, you can see the picture where I'm driving down this. It doesn't look that steep, but it's extremely steep. And as I drive, inch down, all of a sudden you hear ding, and my Jeep, one of my tires go whoop. And there was about this much off the ground. And my nephew's like,
Oh, my God.
it's okay, keep going. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, you got it.
Good Lord.
I'll post it on my Facebook page. In the Berry Beat.
You did send me a video maybe a couple of weeks ago where you were in a similar situation, but on the four-wheeler.
Oh, holy crap!
That was your first ever experience with possibly toppling over. Let's call it.
That was really scary. I'm like trying to hold my body weight over this way, and I'm like trying to press the, keep the gas going, and I'm like freaking out. Yeah, it was a little.
Did
a
you
little
ever
touch and go.
think that maybe you should jump? Did that thought ever cross your mind that I may have to jump?
What went through my mind was, if I tip this, I'm gonna scratch my leg and I'm gonna have problems for the next 6 months.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Because you've been dealing with that long enough. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you're all done with that.
Yeah, no.
No, but you're
it's
all
still-
done dealing with that. I mean, like
yeah,
you
no,
are not
I
gonna.
am extremely careful with my legs. So
Same.
I'm a fat guy with diabetes, and I have venous insufficiency in my legs. So I get a scratch. Most people it heals up in like a week.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me.
Yeah, I'm on that same
Yeah, it
path.
sucks.
I mean,
And-
where I've been with this hole in my leg now for how many months? It's,
And for you, it's not weight related, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's weight related, and it gets me back to I was talking to somebody, and they were watching a Lizzo concert,
Mm-hmm.
and they started talking about body positivity, and I get it, right? Like, nobody should be denigrating somebody for being overweight, but the fact is, being overweight, folks, is extremely unhealthy. I am not healthy. And you know what? If you're overweight, we should probably just start losing weight, right? Because it's not healthy for us.
But that's a lot. You can say that out loud, but it's tough.
Oh yeah, no,
It's
I
as
totally
tough as beating any other addiction there is, or
absolutely.
any other problem there is.
I 100% agree with you on
It
that.
is not, it's not as easy as I'm going to start going, exercising every day, or joining this group or joining that group, or even just changing your diet drastically, and
Right.
the expense of that, and learning how to do that, knowing what to do, and because we're all different too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that. And believe me, as a person that is morbidly obese, I'm fully aware of that. And it's not fun, for people to say things as you're walking down the street and they're
No.
looking at you funny, and it's like, kiss my butt. But then again, I also do want to be clear that, we should not like, say that this is a good way to live our lives, because it's not. Because how many people do you know that are morbidly obese that's 70 years older?
Right. And
You don't.
and
None of them are.
no. And I agree, and I will tell you my perspective. That lady is wearing a scarf up around her face and a winter coat, and she is
cold.
not ready for this shit. Did you see that? She is not ready. Holy cow! She pulled right up over her face and a winter coat on. That's hysterical. I used to I struggled for a long time of not being able to gain. I got sick. It was at first we didn't know why I started losing mass amounts of weight, and I mean mass. I was like 152. I was, I'm tall. I looked fine. I felt fine. I was healthy. Everything was good, and I got sick, and I got all the way down to 99 pounds.
Wow.
And I finally was able to get myself up over 100, but I stayed like 105 for a real long time. And which was horrible. I mean, I felt horrible. I looked horrible. All kinds of people had their opinions of why. People talked about me in the community about why I was that little. I must have been using drugs. Whatever. Was doing it to myself. All kinds of different things. And I would gain a little bit and then lose it right away again. And I would get so excited when I would go to the doctors and they would say, "Oh, you've gained 5 pounds." And I would be happy. And the nurse that was maybe a little heavier than she would have liked would give me a dirty look and be a little bit pissy with my remark about being excited. Or I would see somebody I hadn't seen in a long time, and they would look at me and say, "Oh my God, you've lost so much weight," with this gross look on their face. And so it goes the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I felt absolutely horrible about myself. I mean, and I was so uncomfortable. Couldn't find a place that I wanted to sit. I couldn't go somewhere where there was a hard chair because my tailbone would poke through my skin, or, you know, so the same thing. It's, you never know what you're talking about, who you're talking about. Just don't be a dink. Did you ever see that commercial? I love that commercial, the Heritage commercial with the old men, the old folks. Don't be a dink. That's all I can ever think of, though. But the same thing. Like, I felt the same way.
Extremes on both ends are
Yeah,
not.
and
are
I
not
am
good.
so like happy now. And I joke. I say, because we have no idea why I finally started gaining. So I say, when they say, well, what did you do different? I say, well, I had most of my right foot amputated and I got a divorce. Those are the two things I did. So I have no idea, but I lost a man and half a foot. That's what I did. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know what happened, but I was finally like a little more than a year ago now, was able to start putting it on. I don't know if we just figured out the right medications and the right system for me, and I started putting it on, and I'm good with where I am and how I am, and that's all that matters, I guess. But it's important to be healthy.
Yeah,
And
it is, and that's all I wanted to say was, I fully admit that I'm not healthy. I get that, but I don't deserve to be. As I'm crossing the street to go to a city council meeting to get, this actually happened to me where I was crossing the street and somebody like yelled out an inappropriate comment to me because I'm overweight, and that's fine. I get it. It's one of those things that, you just, it's everybody has, those kind of problems where there's something in their life. I just want to make the comment that the one thing we don't want to do is encourage people to be that way. But also, don't be a dink.
right,
don't be a dink. I realize I have a problem.
Yeah, and
Maybe,
that's the thing.
How about
it's
you
like,
do this? Don't invite me out to Chinese food.
right, and that's the thing. Is like, I know that's what I used to want to say. Like, I know, asshole. What is your point?
Yeah.
What is your point?
Right.
Your hair looks like crap today, or you got a zit on the end of your nose, or why would you say such a thing?
Yeah.
No. And so
now, if I have a spot on my shirt where like there's
right,
food
or something
there,
in my
there's
teeth,
like something in my teeth, please tell me.
Yeah, booger.
If
please
my
say
zipper's
so.
down, absolutely tell me, because let me tell you something. I don't have a problem because I wear my pants high. So, but what?
Oh, this stupid thing. I don't know how I got that.
Oh, it's because you're pressing, going back and forth between the slides, and that's how that happens.
And it goes down there.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, that's right. Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
But
anyways,
do we have anything? Do we have anything in like Vermont conversation? So let me just do a promo for all my upcoming events.
Okay. Yeah, you
'Cause
do that, because we do have some stuff in.
So tonight, Tracy Lewis is going to be on giving us a partnership update. We're also having Michael Deering, Josh Howard, Paul Bean, and Dexter LaFavor on. And we're not doing like a special for them, but they're going to be on. We're going to talk about the council packet, obviously. And we'll probably touch base with them and just see how they're doing. They wanted to come on, so we let them. We had originally scheduled the 3 candidates for Barrytown, but Melissa wasn't able to make it. She's had some issues come up, so she wasn't able to make the 5th. However, we felt that we had planned it out, so we need to keep it going. I did send her an email and say, when she has an opening, please let me know so that we can get an understanding of who the candidates are up there. We know who Topper is. I know who Gina is. I mean, Gina's lived in this community for 42 years because I went to school with her. We actually graduated best year 1998. If Sarah's watching, she's going to be like,
1990. I'm sick of telling you that.
old.
Yeah, I'm
Excuse me.
far from old.
No, you're only 8
You're just
years
meanie.
older. So that's the 5th is Gina and Topper. The 7th we have Michael Taglavina on. He's running for Attorney General. Unfortunately, Corey didn't win because whatever. I won't go down that road because it does kind of piss me off. Tom Kelly will be on. I had reached out to all 4 of the candidates for Berry City. Peter Anthony said no. Jonathan Williams said that he wanted to be on a nonpartisan panel, which apparently the interfaith is nonpartisan, which is not true.
Right.
I mean, I'll be quite frank with you. I look at their website, that is like a Democrat platform.
Right.
But anyway, that's okay. And Brian Judd never replied to me. And Tom Kelly was, I know. Well, I am a communist.
I know.
So, or coward or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But Tom Kelly's coming on. He'll be on, that will be on the 8th. And then, of course, on the 10th, we have our normal Paul White Berrytown update. And the 12th, we have Samantha Lefebvre on. Now, she represents Orange County, and she asked me to have her on. So we're going to do that. And then on the 13th, we actually have a Dexter and Paul were Paul Bean, Dexter Lefebvre and Paul Bean are going to be, wow, Heather, you're old too.
Oh boy.
Oh, she's going to hate me.
She knows how to get in the back door.
Oh, does she?
Yes. Yeah. Isn't your Jeep parked out there?
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Now, if I go out there and there's sand in my tank.
Did you know she works at Summer Street? Right out.
No, I did not. Yes, I did know that. She works at Imagination Station.
Yes, she does.
So anyway, yeah, the 13th is going to be Dexter Lefebvre and Paul Bean again. The 17th, we're going to have a committee update from the Police Advisory Committee. Bob Nelson and Kristen Tuzian are going to come in, and they're going to give us a little update on what's going on with the Police Advisory.
Yeah. I like to hear about that one. Yeah.
Bob, who is also
a presenting sponsor. We're going to talk about him because you know what Bob has right now this week, which is in huge demand, RV antifreeze. So when you're 2 for $8, you're getting ready to close those puppies up. Come on down to Nelson's, get your RV antifreeze, and get the job done. It's getting there. We had our first frost, so even though some of the campgrounds are not closing until, or they don't officially close until Columbus Day, get the job started, get those winterized and put away. Yeah. And then who else you have, is that it? So the 17th, no, because I'm coming on the 19th.
Correct. So the 19th, we've got the Senate panel, and Teddy is going to be moderating that.
Right.
And we're going to have a full house. I needed you as the stagehand.
Yeah.
And we'll have, so we got Teddy on the left, and we'll have Josh Howard on the right.
Yes.
And then as of right now, we've got Andrew Perchlik, Paul Bean, and Dexter Lefebvre.
Okay.
I haven't heard from Dwayne Tucker. And Ann, they said they wanted to do it. And both of them said, so Ann, we changed the date originally for Ann Donahue, Watson, not Donahue, Watson, who's the mayor of Montpelier. they do city council every other week.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed it, and I have to reach out to her. They haven't responded.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm sure they'll be fine. And, they, even if they don't make it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Ann has been on the show, Ann Cummings, and, I was really impressed with, after we have people that come on the show, and apparently, I'm partisan, whatever. I'm not going to go down that road. I shouldn't go down that road. It's inappropriate. But anyway, I do appreciate people that come on the show and give us the information so that we can, notify the city and let people know, here's the people that you're going to vote for in the town. And apparently Orange,
Mm-hmm.
Washington County now. I'm getting into, well, wait, that's actually Orange County, isn't it?
Yes.
So was it, I thought Orange was part of Washington County and Washington was part of Orange County.
I don't think so. I thought it was maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, so that's our plan.
I'm all when you get up
attack.
there, I'm all confused about where that whole line is, even just between Orange and Washington, because when you're driving up 302, I consider that Orange. When you're driving up 110, you're in Washington. But no, you're in Orange for a little bit. It all is very confusing to me. So maybe neither one of them know which county they want to be in.
That could be possible.
Yeah. Maybe they're just a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
That could be
They're
very,
their
very
own
possible.
thing up there in Orange and Washington. Yeah. That's where my friend Leonard is from, actually. That's where his accident happened, was right in Washington, on Woodchuck Hollow. So, yeah. It's hopefully we're wishing him well today and sending him lots of thoughts and prayers and hopes for a speedy recovery. And yeah, any last words before we
I can't think of anything
for the day?
Can't think of anything
Until we come back and torment you tomorrow, right? Because you're going to come back
Yes.
and join me. You'll join me again tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Thank God, because I don't want to do this by myself. I'm a wicked pansy ass when it comes to this. Like, I just don't want to do it by myself. All last week I watched JD sit here all by himself, nobody over there, and he just has these full-on conversations. I don't know. I'm gonna forget I'm saying it. I think you have to be tapped. That's what
tapped
I've just
or touched.
Yeah,
A little touched.
yeah, a little of both maybe, but I just think that you've got to be a little bit tapped.
Yeah, it's a little difficult.
Order to do such a thing.
It's a little difficult.
But yeah, so with that, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you all tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a good day.